All right. I guess we're back, but give me some time to fix everything again. Up. Fix the camera again. So that one's weird. So I guess I fixed one problem to run into two other issues. Newer issues, actually, that I didn't have before. Like I said, my OBS crash was completely weird because usually there'll be some error message or something that will happen, or like some lag or something. It just literally just dipped. Second class coming out in April. Yeah, the expansion is coming out in April. But yeah, same ordeal. That class will be OP, and then they'll dial back in the paladin, like maybe probably not next season, but the season after that. So like what they'll do is like they'll dial down the paladin when the expansion comes out, so they make the new class that's then at that point OP because you already bought the expansion, so they don't have to lure you in with a very strong paladin at that time. They can just kind of make it balanced ish. Yeah. All right, hold on. I gotta set up YouTube again. I gotta change the whole title again. All right. Okay. Get the thumbnail again. I think in the future, I'm probably gonna not. I might cut back on dual streaming, at least until maybe my crashes and stuff gets a little better. Because it takes so long to get the YouTube stream up. Twitch stream is really not that hard, but the YouTube part of it, because it doesn't save anything. I got to go back and like check all the boxes and say yes to this, no to that, redo that, get the category back in, redo the visibility, add the thumbnail, like all of that. It just never saves. All right, now I think go back to playing Diablo 4 now. I got somebody in the background that was happy I was crashing. Sign. Yeah, rogue skills and animations look awesome. You think so? I guess it just depends on what skills you're talking about. Like Rain of Arrows looks pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Death Trap also looks pretty cool. But like most of Rogue's animations are pretty bland. Like they're fun to move around and play with. Like, you know, going from like place to place. Like they're pretty zoomy-ish type class. But like and the visuals and stuff, like the animation stuff like that, is not what I think of when I think of Rogue. In fact, I usually complain about how unappealing a lot of rogue skills are. Like pin shot, rapid fire, barrage, twisting blades to a certain extent. All the basic skills. Yeah, Shadow Clone, I guess too, as well is in a discussion. Like, only really random rails and Death Trap, and maybe Shadow Step to a certain extent really like looks cool. Everything else is just like I'm really not trying to discourage you from playing Rogue, by the way. Do not get it wrong. Rogue is my main, and I'm gonna always play Rogue. But I guess just trying to see what you see. I can't agree that, maybe watching me play this build is actually kind of neat to watch or fun to watch. But this is one of the very few ones that are visually appealing. Now we do have some feel good builds though, like Heartseeker is a feel good build. Flurry is definitely a feel good build. Probably one of our better feel good builds. Death of Nas is probably in that equation too. I'm guessing you stand against the buggy build that requires a macro to play. Well, there's no reason to play that build outside of pit pushing. So like, since I don't pit push, there's no reason to play it. And it doesn't really require a macro. It's suggested that you do a macro. I mean, I could play it without, but the build is super clunky and it's awful. Like it's awful. It's everything that Heartseeker really isn't by design. So nothing about it do I find fun. So nah, I'm not gonna. It didn't look fun, but YouTube is full of the best rogue build, and it's just that build. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it is not fun at all. However, I guess you could say fun is subjective, right? So I'll rephrase it. I did not find that fun. But there's a crowd of people, right? Where it's like, for some people, fun is not what they play or how the build feels. It's about how much damage it does. So the bigger the number, the more fun they have. And for those people, push Heartseeker is just fine for them. They don't mind. They'll just copy the macro and just let the build play itself and say, hey, look at the choice of damage I'm dealing, right? Then there's a class of people that are just like, oh no, this just feels horrible. I'm not gonna touch this. And like, regardless of like the damage it deals, they're just like, nope. And that is the class of people that I am in. I don't push out. You try to get 95. I'm going to do it. I think it's usually speed farms, 65, 75s. Yeah, well, all of our rogue builds not all. I would say most of our rogue builds can easily get to 100. Like, you won't struggle with any to reach 100 in for rogue. But yeah, you started Dance with Nas yesterday. Any of your rogue vocabulary. But in terms of the whole, like, YouTube is full of the best rogue build. That's actually why I kind of stopped making rogue videos in general, because it's like, especially when like a new class comes out, like, aka Paladin, right? Because unless you make a video of like the highest DPS rogue, build, then people aren't really interested. Like, they're interested in seeing what pushes the highest, but they're not necessarily interested in doing it themselves. They just want to see it. And it's like, oh, look at them, trillions of numbers, right? But most of them don't really want to do that or do the thing. They just kind of want to see what it is, right? And so, because I'm not interested in playing that setup, it just kind of makes it pointless for me to do videos on anything that isn't that, because it's just not going to get that type of viewership or attention. I did Heartseeker last season though, just because it, I won't say became relevant again, but more so it was like the Orphan Maker was kind of new. Heartseeker was actually performing better than it relatively has been in the past. So I was like, okay, I guess it is time for me to do a Heartseeker video again. But now it's like, it's gonna be a while before I do any other videos, honestly. Super Mike, what's going on? Brahim, what's going on? Still trying to figure out what this crash was. Why? The whole why? I guess it's back to bossing time. All right, we'll go back to this one here. Are there any builds that resemble the old G multi-shot from D3? No, not really. Barrage is probably the closest thing, but Barrage is in the really bad state at the moment, and the strongest way to play it requires Orphan Maker, which feels nothing like multi-shot at all. So no, not really. And I was a huge fan of UE multi-shot in D and D3. That was actually my favorite setup. That with hexing pins. Yeah, I love me some UE. Sucks that like that they kind of didn't, you know, buff it just a little bit more before they stopped doing updates to the game, but that's fine. But with that being said, though, I do wish, and it probably sounds selfish, but I do wish that, like, well, I guess there is a reason why I sound selfish with this, but I think this is coming from experience. But like, I wish when like people like dislike something like a lot, like, you know, if you just like really don't like the thing, that we can all collectively just don't do the thing. I think like when we complain about, you know, certain aspects of the game, if we don't necessarily have to interact with it in a serious way, then don't. Because I feel like if we you know, if we complain but we still interact with it, it doesn't really tell the devs or the company that there's an actual problem here. It's like, oh, they'll bitch and complain about how this is this way, but they're still gonna do this said thing, and that doesn't give them any reason to make any changes to it. This is especially. Am I doing things on Hakan, or just any Hakan basically? But the damage versus distance does need to be a little bit on the higher side. But I'll take any Hakan, especially if it's ancient. I don't even care where the GA is on the ancient. But what was I saying? What divine gifts am I running? I mean, nothing special. I haven't moved anything around in like forever. Pain, shadows, anguish, hellfire for the tops here, and then like I don't even pay attention to these anymore. Honestly. But let me tell you this though. The biggest offender. Have I tried Paladin yet? No. I was gonna maybe make one this season, but I don't think I will. It's really not an archetype that I care for. But yeah, so so the reason why the biggest offender is pit, like pit pushing, and especially builds that are notoriously shitty to play, and pit pushing, like we should just avoid as a whole. Like we just should just not do it. I know I can't get everyone to kind of get on board to be like, yo, just don't do it. But the problem happens is that when we complain about pit pushing in general, and then we complain about the builds being used in pit push, but yet we all strive, I'm gonna say all, but people tend to still play those setups. And that just becomes the most popular setup in pit pushing because, I mean, obviously you want the higher number, right? But the problem what happens is that like you complain about it, but yet you spend all these hours and times and even real money on gear to place the absolute shitty build that you're complaining about. And then the devs don't really get the information that they need to be like, oh, well, maybe we should make some changes or adjustments to how this is being played or done, because people are doing it, right? They're just doing it. And the reason why I know that this is the case, like this actually does happen. This happened in Diablo 3, where at the very end for Demon Hunter, they nerfed Marauder set. They nerfed the Marauder set. Why did they nerf the Marauder set? Because they thought in their eyes, that the Marauder set was the strongest Demon Hunter build, because it was the build that was played the most on the leaderboards. So they nerfed it, thinking, okay, well, maybe if we nerf it, we'll see other setups. What they didn't account for is the fact that Nataya's was actually the strongest build, because the people didn't want to play it. It was absolute complete dog shit. So people just didn't play it. But it was technically the strongest build. They just chose to do Marauder because Marauders was just strong enough to where it's like, yeah, it still is. So like, but Marauders was strong enough to be kind of competitive with Nataya's. So people were just like, okay, well, I'd rather play Marauders than to play Nataya's. And so the devs didn't really think about that in a sense. And so what they ended up doing was they nerfed Marauders, thinking that that was the dominant set or the strongest set, when the reality is all they had to do was make changes or adjustments to Nataya's, and people would have played that. But they didn't. But now, because of the data that they got based on the leaderboards, we are now stuck with Nataya as like by far the strongest set because they nerfed Marauders. So it's like the devs are specifically paying attention to what we are doing and our actions in the game. And if we show contempt with the things that we do in a game, they have no reason to make changes or adjustments, or quickly to make changes or adjustments. Like if we want changes to those things, we just simply don't do them. Like I guarantee you Pit would have gotten some changes by now in terms of the higher end, how people like, view the top end of pushing, and people just didn't do it. People just like, yo, Pit sucks. Pit pushing sucks. And people just don't do it. Now they have to do something. Because now it's like, oh, no one likes it. So I guess we might need to make some adjustments, changes. But if we still do it while complaining, for them it's just like, oh, seems like a perfectly fine method, for me. Seems like it's totally fine. People are still, engaging with it, interacting with it. And ironically enough, I strongly feel that's the reason why we haven't gotten any like it's been taking a long time to get any actual real changes to that particular content, because it's like, you know, we bitch about it, but we still do it. So, I mean, I'm just doing my part. It's just playing fair. Kind of like the Gauntlet, right? I very good remember. No, Gauntlet's gone. They couldn't prevent people from cheating on the Gauntlet, so they just got rid of it. Basically, if you really like want to know like the real on that, they just couldn't find a way to like keep it like legitimate in any way, shape, or form. So had they said that they were to be divided to classes like D3, probably. I'm sure there will be. It sounds like D3 leader. I will say like, well, I mean, botting was a huge problem. More so account sharing. Account sharing was actually a bigger problem than botting, but botting is probably the more known, the more understood problem. Not many people really understand, you know, how big account sharing was in D3, and that was actually a bigger problem than botting was. Because botting is nowhere near efficient than having a second or third player an account efficiently. Because a bot will never be as fast or as efficient. It's just only efficient when you're asleep or when you're at work, right? Another player will always be way better than the botter. It'll be hard to implement the build segregation if our secret builds use for edge utility. Well, see, that's the thing too, Peach. I think that like I kind of would like to see from Tower happen, but I know it's not going to happen. But I would love to see separate leaderboards for builds or whatever. For builds, but I don't know how they're going to do that without sets, right? Like that was probably one of the better things to happen, given the fact that sets were a part of the game, because it made something like that possible. Whereas I don't see how they're going to be able to do that in Diablo 4. I don't see how they're going to be able to do it at all. Like, do they go based off of the highest multiplier of the skill that's on your bar in a sense, or like the skill that is doing the most damage on your bar? I mean, at that point, for rogue, it would be like clone on like every build, right? It'd be like the clone board, right? Clone flurry, clone heartseeker, clone rapid fire, clone barrage. It'll all just be clone, because clone is like the build. So I don't know how they're gonna do that. Then it's like, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. What about aspects? I have no idea. But I would love to see separate leaderboards for that. That was actually because I found, you know, playing like, you know, on the UE leaderboards or like that a lot more fun than trying to play UE on like the main board. Obviously, because it was never competitive with, well, for a long time, it was not competitive with the rest of, you know, the Demon Hunter set. So having his own board, having his own leaderboard was actually great. And since we're pushing Tournament 2, Tournament 1 is so easy about getting on in Tournament 2. Gear. Keep getting gear. Keep getting Paragon. If you're getting on in T2, you just don't have the pieces or gear. So stay in T1. Whatever build guide you're following, keep those tabs up. Oh, really? I guess I'll hold on to it still. But yeah, continue to keep building your character. It just means that you were trying to get the T2 too fast. My bet is that power will be messed for the first time. Oh yeah, I am for sure that's gonna be the case. But the funny part about it is that like it can't be any worse than what we have in the pit right now. So it's like even the mess that the tower we're bringing still might be a better experience than like than the pit that we have right now. Which is kind of hilarious when you think about it. So it's like we're all expecting like trash, like, you know, unethical amounts of like facepalm when Tyra comes out, but we're all like, well, better than Pit. it's still not Pit, so I guess, you know, I don't know. Appreciate the talk. Yeah, no problem, man. I'll definitely take a look at the match row page, check out what Rogue does to see which one to find the match. How I like of your usual builds. Yeah, man. Archetype matters a lot, in my opinion, in terms of the enjoyability of what you like to play. And then of course it's the, you know, how much damage you can make your build do once you find one that you really like. Tickles, what's going on? How am I doing tonight? I'm mostly all right. Mostly all right. Just chilling. I like the fast and AoE. The ability current thing seems pretty good at that. A part of me would suggest like, well, actually, you know what? Like, one build that doesn't really get played often, that's actually like really cool looking. That plays a lot. Have you played Gossix Demon Hunter? You played Gossix Demon Hunter, right? Zake? Dance of Knives with Poison Trap kind of gives you that feeling of Gossix Demon Hunter. Gossix Demon Hunter is still the better of the, you know, two per se in terms of just like how it feels. But like, that's such a cool build that doesn't get much attention this season. It's literally spin to win in that sense. This is my first season D4. What problems are there with Pit other than useless except leveling glyphs? Where do I begin? Well, there's I'm trying to figure out where to start so that I don't just start rambling. All right, so for one, the bosses are not balanced at all, which gives you wildly different pit times. So if you're trying to get like a personal best, or, you know, if I try to find some way of like, oh, well, I'm gonna see how fast I can do this run or whatnot, like depending on the boss you get, it's a little better now than it was before. But like the boss you got highly depends, was basically determine how your clear went, especially in the push part of things. Now it's just Belial, which is actually quite bad for literally everything. But there's that. There's also progression skip for some strange reason. Sometimes you'll somehow skip like 30 up to 35% progression at like almost what seems to be random. There's also a ton of dead ends in the pit, so you have to kind of backtrack a lot on something that is timed. Then the mob types themselves are not really balanced in terms of progression is concerned, making it so therefore if you're trying to push, you have to kind of fish for a certain progression of mobs in that sense. Also, it is given the amount of elite fixes right now and explosions, playing a pit is kind of a horrendous experience because there's a lot of explosions that can kill you, and they kind of overlap. So they kind of overdid it with the explosions, but you normally see it more in pit because it's more dense than you see in the other areas, making it not as fun of an experience in general overall, unless your character can somehow tank all the explosions, which most characters cannot. Become a Heartseeker Giga Chat, you would not regret. I can attest to that. Heartseeker is a great first rogue build.
Raided my stream with 174
Panda
viewers.
with
just
the
got
raid.
raided, son. You know how we do.
What's up?
Drop my new beat for these new viewers.
Sheezy out. Panda, what's up, man? What up, y'all? I am not doing anything special or the like other than just I guess typical or traditional boss farming for stuff, and then slamming things, and then leaving the night / stream disappointed with the slams you got, and then rinse and repeat. So basically the same things you probably see on everyone else's streams. But what up? Difference is either the class that's being played and the music selection. Am I able to tab out now, or am I going to crash? I should be able to tab out now. Is it something Discord you need me to see, or what's up? Yeah, have you been about to T100 on this rogue season without struggles? Yeah. On this particular setup, without a lot of sanctifications, I can do 103 minutes roughly on this random rail setup. So not bad. Fantasy like, heck yeah, relatable. Yeah, man. I mean, that's basically all we're doing until, to get prepared for tower, then to only be disappointed by tower in about a week, sorry, and to playing tower. And then, yep, we wait for PTR for the next season after that. Tower still coming, yep. It'll be here in about 2.5 weeks-ish. By the progression skip. Yeah. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff. So I think the thing is that, like, if you haven't been playing a lot, it's hard for you to kind of know what some of those issues are, and they kind of just don't really exist. But if you've been here for a bit and you've been playing most seasons, it definitely becomes apparent pretty quickly. I've been doing the Heartseeker build with the crossbow. Got 100% crit damage roll on it and still struggling. So you got 100% crit. So it looks like you're paying attention to the wrong stats. Because crit damage, like actual crit damage, like the stat crit damage, that doesn't really do much for anything. It's like all additive. So that's not the stat you pay attention to at all. Oh, the Godfather. Oh, my bad. No, you should have made that clear. That's a much different crit damage stat. Okay. Yeah. So Control Z music. So the thing is with regular Heartseeker, all right, man, you have a good one. The thing is that with regular Heartseeker, like, with all the sanctifications, standard Heartseeker with all the sanctifications, it will get you about 106, 107. With fishing, meaning, finding the right maps, that kind of thing. Like, right map, right mob type, etc. So, like, getting to 100 with standard Heartseeker is actually quite a task. Now, of course, with the push version, obviously, 100 is rather easy, but that's a whole different variation that is not nearly as smooth or subjectively fun as traditional Heartseeker. I've been getting Belial quite often, actually, on these things. But yeah, CT, yeah, tower is still. And we're going to be all hype about it. Hopefully, I'll say that. The people who actually got the gear, like got the right sinks, are going to be hyped for it. Those who still got crappy sinks going into the tower, or it's going to be it's going to be sad. I can imagine probably some people might not even engage with the tower at all if they don't have the, most of their sinks by then. Because at that point, you really can't compete anyway. I mean, if you don't have a grandfather and a Sterling somewhere, like, you're not competing. The issue for you is that you're squishy. I'm doing a push. You're doing the push build. You're the overpower for 200 to 500 billion damage. Okay, so if you're doing a push build, 200 to 500 billion damage is not a lot at all. If you're not hitting for trillions, like, yeah, if you're not hitting for trillions, then you're definitely got some ways to go on that. And what I mean by trillions, I mean, I'm not talking about like, 1 or 2 trillion. We're talking about like 18, 19 trillion, on average. I mean, you can hit as high as like 150, 180 trillion in the right circumstances, right? But point being is that if you're playing a push build and you're not hitting for trillions, then you definitely don't have, there's definitely some stuff that either rotation wise you're doing wrong, or some just gear stuff that you just simply don't have yet. I hate fighting Varshan with this build, by the way, because Varshan is so skinny. So a lot of my reigns kind of miss him. So it just takes longer to kill him than the other bosses for Rain. Yeah, just make sure that you're performing the bug correctly. Control Z music. Matthias has a great video on like how to actually execute the bug correctly. Because if you don't, then like you're missing a lot of damage. You got Tributes of Ascendance? I might have some. Yep, I have 11 of them actually. I kind of forget to do them. That's too low damage there. Now the squishiness part is that, like, honestly, as long as your barrier up is fine. If you're dying, it's probably 2 explosions, and at that point, it's just you're gonna have to just move. Could the corrupted essences have something to do with the squishiness? Yeah, that too as well. But I guess in his case though, he's yeah, explosions, yeah. I mean, you're not going to be able to tank those explosions. Not unless you build tanky, like ultra tanky at that point. And at that point, you're going to have to lose quite a bit of damage to be able to tank those on most rogue builds. So yeah, at that point, you just have to move. Like, you're not going to be able to survive all those explosions. Let me know if I want to run some. Yeah, I'll be down to run some. I'm assuming you need mythics. Is that what that is? I must be doing a rotation wrong without explaining also. Well, the thing is that Control Z music is that you have to cast Heartseeker literally right after you cast Clone. If you wait like even like a second after you cast Clone, then you won't execute the bug. So it has to so like the moment that you push like Clone, like immediately cast Heartseeker. Because if you do not, you would not get that damage spike. Cast what now? Clone. You follow? Are you following the build guide or any build guides by chance? Mostly any build guide should have a rotation, like to tell you kind of how to do it. Use flurry for trigger. Okay, but yeah, okay. But yeah, so if you're following the one that's on max roll, I do write it out in terms of the actual like rotational order. Yeah, you do have to cast. So basically, you go from Flurry to Shadow Clone to Heartseeker. That's like the more simplistic rotation. But after you cast your Flurry to spend your energy, you class your clone, and then right after the clone, you cast Heartseeker like legitimately right after the clone. You cannot wait. Yes, so it must be done like literally like back to back to back. And when you do that, you'll see your damage spike up. Favorite rune way. Who needs mythic? I just want to try to take the fight to hit some kind of power spike. Gotcha. Okay. Request some Vice, and Moana, if you want to, you can come into as well. Favorite rune? What? Favorite rune in Spanish? I never looked at it that way. Yeah, the Treasure Breach ones aren't as popular right now because I think they're a little bit more common. So by this time, I think a ton of people kind of have a lot of opticite at this point. It's the Neantherin is the map that people are like really struggling with. For those who are like trying to min max at this point, that and apparently Scattered Prisms from what I'm hearing. That has somehow been a thing. I'm gonna message DMKT. I haven't messaged on it forever. All right. Undercity we go. Oh wait. Before we do that, he wanted to do the tributes first. So let's do that first.
Stick to the trees and keep safe.
I'm gonna just go straight there now. Guess we can do more jewelry. What kind of Mono, what kind of transmog is that? No judgment. Got a spot? Yeah. You can join in on the next one. He's been farming Asmodan, trying to hit a print. Yeah, well, I'm not really a huge fan of the Asmodan farming at all. Yeah, it's not enough fun. The thing about it is that I really like him as a world boss. Like Asmodan as a world boss is like awesome design, really cool. But when he becomes the loop, like after you killed him after your 120th time or 300th time, it's just kind of like, all right, that's a bit. I'm a little done with that. You know what I mean? Like. You turn a really good thing into something of a chore. 4G or 4GA tiers might. Make sure send gift is max. Well, yeah, but I mean it takes a long time to get that far, unless you do some, less fun methods than the regular not fun method. Wait, which tribute did you throw in, Super Mike? I AFK'd with the stapler keyboard for normal difficulty. Oh, that wasn't you? Wait, who joined that party? Wait, it was Blame? Okay, so have Blame, Moana, and who's Archangel? Oh, you joined. Okay, so now you're there. Okay. Oh, okay, it was Blame. Okay, I'm like so confused. I'm so confused. All y'all pull a fast one on me. Same here, but not stapler. I didn't know about the stapler tech. Nah, but I think my Asmodean one is like 4 now, like rank 4, not even maxed out yet. And get overnight for the seasonal gift level. I mean, I'm sure Blizzard had to have known that was coming, right? Like that people were gonna actually do that, right? It's not even like the fact that it would take forever to do normally. Like it's the idea that a farming loop like that is established in the game. Like they had to know people were gonna actually do that. All right, which tribute was that? I assume that was a Ascendance, right? Only found one pranks today, though. Yeah, me too. Usually I get invited to other like my other friends who get more of that stuff. Jesus Christ. What? Super Mario, you got 69 of the Ascendants? Alright. Yeah, you can key in. We'll just run y'all's. Yeah. I was thinking I had quite a few with my 11, man. Y'all made me look like I like I got none at all. Then again, I've been really inefficiently farming all season, so that kind of makes sense.
You take care now.
I played for 2 days and got more than every boss now. It's just 3 trips to town. Yeah, see that? Yeah, that's not cool. I hate having to like shuffle through all that stuff on the ground. Oh, that wasn't Endario, no? How come that wasn't Endario? Did we not get the max thing or what? What happened? It's nice to see some of those 50 sparks. I kind of like that. Keeps me gambling for that perfect 65 air for no reason. You get about 90 world boss drops so many. I haven't done that many world bosses either, so that's also partially my, well, not partially. It absolutely is my fault. Only her tribute guarantees her. Okay. Tells you how many understudies I've been doing this season.
You take care now.
Someone AFK too fast or too soon. Bro, now, do you remember me? Yeah, I remember you. How you been? It has been a while. I've been alright. I came back during the game where it's Paladin. It's too hard to resist. So are you playing this season, or you're just kind of watching how it's going? Wait till I Paragon to 40 ass judgment. Yeah, that came as a complete surprise for me. Very smart by Blizzard to do that though. Like they're gonna end the quarter real strong with that move. I still can't believe they made a Paladin 0 button build playable. You're surprised? Nah, man. To me, that's more DLC copies, sir. You mean I can like evaporate everything within a certain radius without having to push a button on my Oradin? What? Totally buying this now. It's obnoxious. It is. I could never play a build like that ever. Like hell, I can't play Necro Minions because it's not enough for me to do. Yet alone an Oradin. Made for dad gamers, yes. Or it is grave on the wrist, meaning it's not painful. So like the thing is too as well though, like honestly, if the pacing of combat wasn't so fast per se, yeah, if the pacing of combat wasn't so fast, and geared towards massive amount of killing things in one major swoop, you'd push less buttons less often. Necromania is the highest AP in the on Necromant pit pushing. Dude, Raven, I had like a really bad streak of games yesterday on Hills of the Storm, man. It was like so bad. I was ready to just rage quit and like uninstall, like just completely. I still want to try DD2R. I did. I did. In fact, I streamed it when I had the beta at the time. And it was great content for everybody who knew what they were doing and you know, when I didn't. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. In fact, for a good my stream wouldn't tell me. Like one person tried to help me, but the other ones like purposely tried not to say anything. Because I was like, I died once early on, and I legit was wondering what happened to like my gear and stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, where's all my stuff at? And then somebody in like the chat was like, you have to go get it. I'm like, what do you mean you have to go get it? I had it before I died. What do you mean get it? Like no, it's like it's on your body. I'm like, yeah, my body's right here in town. So I'm looking at my body in town, and it's not on my body. What are you talking about? And it's like, no, you have to go get it off your dead body. I'm like, my dead body is still out there? And it's like, yes. So apparently where I died was like around a bunch of monsters in which obviously I wasn't geared to take them down. So I died like another 20 something times trying to get the first body to have my gear on it, right? So that was very comedic for the stream. And then apparently I ran out of air. I decided to play Boazon, which is obviously not something that you do as a beginner. It's probably one of the hardest things to do as a beginner. But I ran out of arrows and I got stuck behind like one or two mobs because apparently, you know, paving was, you know, rough back in the day, right? So yeah. So I ran out of arrows and I ended up like pushing a bunch of buttons and I ended up punching myself out the corner or whatever. People thought that was like hilarious. So yeah, I had some good times. Had some good times. I will say I did enjoy my experience of being completely, you know, completely bad at it. It was fun. I think I stopped at like Act 3 or something like that. We're around that range.
You look like you've seen battle.
You say you logoed? I've been like, so my current win streak or lose streak right now kind of has me in like silver 1 at the moment. But I would usually like hang out or hover around like gold 3, gold 4, but like, yeah, I'm like all the way down to silver 1 right now. My record this season is so bad anyways, mainly because of the lag issue I was having most of the time. It was hard for me to play like well. But I will say that, you know, a chunk of that was on my end, but like ever since that being fixed, man, I still just can't get anything going. Did I end up beating it? No. I never intended to play like that long for it. It's kind of hard to play a game that it gets a lot of quality of life things that makes it tough to play for someone that hasn't played it before and during that time frame. Like you'll deal with it if you done it before, you know, obviously being older, but like if you're not used to a lot of the like things that were considered okay back then, but nowadays seem really retro, I guess, for the lack of a better word. It makes it kind of hard to really enjoy the experience. But that's it. That's how it is for a lot of things right now, right? I mean, you know. So yeah, but I did enjoy it for what it was, if that makes sense. Like I actually didn't mind the stamina system that people would complain about. I actually thought that was okay. Don't blame lag, blame team. Oh man. Ran the whole game carrying and kicking and screaming to people, just keep rush. Right, they respawn even though you got free objectives, throw so hard. I just can't get people to just play together. Like, yo, just play the game. Like, literally, like the first engagement would go bad in the middle because for some strange reason everybody has to, you know, ARAM in the middle every single game all the time, and you got to go with them because if you don't, then it's obviously your fault for not being there to ARAM with them at the very start, obviously, right? So you got to ARAM with them because you don't have a choice. But then once they lose the ARAM battle so hard, then they get all pissed off and it's like, you know, F this, you know, and like they just won't play anymore. Like they just like AFK the rest of the game off of like one or two bad engagements. And it's like no matter how good or bad you are, right? Like if you play the game enough, you know that like the game can go either way at any point of time. Like snowballs do happen, yes, but like comebacks are very, very, very common, especially in like gold. So it's not like, you know, so when people just give up completely at the start, it's just so annoying. It's so annoying because it's just like, bro, like you're salty because, you know, you try to fight them 1v5 and you're mad because apparently you thought your team was with you and now you want to AFK. Like those games are completely winnable until a guy does that, and then you're just like, well, Deco, what's up? I heard nostalgia. I went back to play D1 and he was like, yo, this is ass, but when you was 9 it was peak. Oh yeah. See, also the problem too is that I also don't play like hyper carry heroes usually, like the Valas, the Li Mings, the so it's like Chromie to an extent, KT, like those that can hyper carry in a sense. Zul'jin, like those, Vala, of course. So it's like I need my team to do something. Like I will put them in a really good position to do well, but I cannot do it alone. Right? Because like the heroes I play are not technically hyper carry heroes per se. Falstad might be the closest thing I have to a hyper carry. But even then, you still need your team to follow up on what you're doing. But Falstad best range DPS in the game right now. Is it all because of the W build? I still prefer playing hybrid when I'm doing them, even with the new stuff. Um, his frequent flyer uh talent at 1 is like really good right now. It's like really really good. I prefer that in most cases, but yeah, I still go hammer in at 7 with that, so like I can actually have some wave clear when I play. If I go straight W, I have like no wave clear at all. But in terms of like, you know, fighting, obviously, you have like an Asmodan on your team and whatnot, you won't really need the wave clear. The new Kerrigan's really strong too. I hardly ever see anyone play Kerrigan, but again, you know, gold. I see a lot of Thralls though now. Like Thralls also getting banned a lot. Oh, I offlane Tyrael last night. That was actually kind of funny, because like either my heroes got all of my heroes got banned, or was like taken, and so like, and then someone who was supposed to play a certain role chose at the very last minute to not do so. So I panic picked a Tyrael for offlaning on like Battlefield of Eternity, and it worked out really really well actually. I offlane versus Leo, and I held my own actually. I was quite surprised. And because we had like 2 tanks, I just kind of just did whatever I wanted to do. Do I just want to go in the back line and chase people? Sure, I can do that too. I want to shield people? I can do that too. I just want to bug stuff? I can do that too. Well, can I bait? Sure, I'll bait. So it was like really cool to kind of play like a not maintain Tyrael and just. I love Gustin Boston and barrel rolling into a root with boss at 20. I don't know what it is, man. Like, as much as I play Fawcett, or I played Fawcett, man, maybe it's just RNG or just the nature of the world being. But anytime I try to, or I want to make a play with Fawcett, anytime with Gus, it never works well. You know, I Gus the glassy peoples into the team and they all run. Instead of just like, you know, unloading their whatchamacallit. Like I'm telling them I'm gonna do it too. Cause like I'm sitting there offlaning, I'm like, all right guys, I'm going in. I'm gonna Gus the DPS. And I'll let them know ahead of time. And like I do it and then my entire team just dies. They just kind of run and get afraid and then just die. I'm just like, why is it that like I see other people do all the time and it's, you know, the people actually follow up, but when I want to do it, no one wants to do shit. And then the people complain, well, you Gus them into us. I'm like, well, duh. That's the whole freaking point. Now, of course, when I get like 20 or like that, you know, then I would like Gus them into the walls or whatever. But before then, it's like the point is to get the DPS within range for you to jump them and kill them, and that's how it's supposed to happen.
My hammer sings on your return.
I love Fawcett who instead of Gusting into the wall, Gus melee assassins into your mages. Nah. People just tend to freak out. And so like that's why I just like choose that's why I just go blast most of the time. So I'm like until so maybe I get a little higher, people know how to respond properly. New Year's in 4 hours. Jeez. Where are you at? Are you is that is that where you are, or are you just saying that to be saying that? I think somebody chose AFK for a little bit. New Zealand. It's the furthest forward forward time zone, not far from Hawaii. Gotcha. All right, so what are we doing now? Yeah, I might pick up Chromie Raven most likely at some point. Give me a carry mage to play. I think the only mage I actually like outside of that is like Jaina, but I've been more so like into auto attackers than anything else. But like mages in general has never really been my thing. I think it's more so because like when I first started playing, everybody wanted to play me. So like I never really I kind of stuck to like heroes that can like auto attack, because outside of Rainier at the time, people didn't really care, or like people didn't like playing auto attackers initially. Everybody wanted the KT at the time. Or Li Ming. Yeah, the OG KT. Yeah, exactly. OG KT was absolutely ridiculous. Everybody wanted to play KT or Illidan. But like the closest mage I would play would be like Mage Stad. Or I guess go Q build. But like a true mage is like Jaina was like my only one for a while, but like I need to pick up Chromie. This season is really making me think about making us really want filters. I don't think I think he went to go grab some to drink. Just gonna pour a drink. No, it's Waka FK. I don't know. Rockets, what's going on, man? Bro, and on how I remember throwing out a bush cast entirety. And the team was waiting. The bush yanking masters and one shot the whole team. It was so busted back then. It was funny because like everyone, because like the people who would play KT a lot would just say, "Oh, well, just spread. Like, just don't get so close or whatever. You know, just spread out and you'll be fine." But like, it wasn't that easy. Like it was mostly kind of okay. Like if you were playing on like a team game on like and you were in Discord or whatever chat, but like if you were playing solo queue or whatever, you know, just forget it. Hey bro, know anything about the barbarian can fit between Hoda and Lunging Strike for end game? Go Lunging Strike. Lunging Strike is where it's at. Okay, let's see. So I've only gotten one mythic so far. All these runs we've done so far. I mean, 1 mythic. No, sorry, 2. A world boss now. You straight up haven't rolled a single legendary power in 200 plus sanctifications. Yeah. It'd be like that, man. It'd be like that. It looks like we are gonna hop to Super Mike for world boss. Sylvanas with her quest completed is strong. I heard I had a who was it? Was it Sylvanas or was it Kerrigan? Some guy from one of my random teammates was just like, I'm not gonna play the game until my quest is completed. I think he was playing Kerrigan, not mistaken. Or was it Sylvanas? I can't remember, but he literally would not play the game until his quest was completed.
I couldn't say.
I was like, okay, like avoided everything.
I couldn't save them.
Like avoided objectives, avoided team fights, avoided like legit everything. Have I guys run those Ubers before? No, I have not.
There are so many ways I can kill you.
I think I only got like 2 out of the 4 anyway, so.
May the light show you mercy and death.
Kerrigan has her Q baseline now. How often do you play Kerrigan now? Like that, like I used to love when you play Kerrigan, but you would pull her out like on like a rare occasion. But you were always so good with him. But there.
You are courting pain and death.
Played her in every last week. Won like 46-2. Jeez. Paul, what's going on? No, Waka. Wait, was that a paladin that died? Is that bug still in the game? I have hungers of the 50% mythic drop under sea. That he seems acceptable. Well, see, I thought it was like 50% mythic drop rate, but I think the group ones might be. Yeah, what about Azan can never get to her? Can't dodge it. Should be self teleports away. Oh, you mean the the old Ming.
Thanks. Impressive.
I'm doing all the chores. So you just woke up. Where do you? What part of the world do you reside in? Yep, so could be EU or a little further. Yeah, okay. I was like, you're up early. Even like early. I guess it depends on what kind of work you do. 8 in the morning for you. Okay, so you're a little further east in Europe. 'Cause it should be 7 in the morning. Well, actually, I don't know, because I guess we have daylight savings time here, so that it changes the time a little bit. All right. Are we still back to we're still doing the tributes? You're an early bird. Have it become like that when kids spawn. The language used became like that when it became like that when the kids got coded in, huh? Came with the DLC. Nice shield. So if that's the case, why aren't all the kids doing all the chores then? Like either that or like Paragon leveling for you. One of the two. We ready? How's it grind? We're focusing at the moment. I guess you could say I'm grinding for the sake of grinding, but more so just to continue to slam sanctifications on items that I need powers on. So no one seems to know what they want to do. So I was like, I'm gonna throw in a tribute. Let's go. How's Rogue feeling? I mean, I honestly don't really do anything that kind of pushes the limit on said build as Rogue. So, I mean, if we're just talking about T4 content for farming for certifications, I mean, a lot of builds and things and whatever can do that. But I am enjoying Rain as a build this season as my main build. I just started to see more Heartseeker struggle a lot with resource management. Followed your guy, got a mythical version, but I can't push pitch huge enough. When you say huge enough, give me an example of what you mean by huge enough. Yeah. So keep in mind on the guide there's a. I said, do I have to switch to push OM version? If you want to deal more damage and go higher in the pitch, yes, you do have to make the switch. But I mean, it just depends. I mean, are you trying to do like leaderboard shenanigans on the third party site or whatever? Like is that your goal? If so, then yeah, you're gonna want to switch. If not, I mean, you can just set a personal goal. Like standard Heartseeker should be able to hit about 106, 107 with like full sinks. So that gives you a goal to work towards if you want to do it that way. But like if you want like a certain pit number where it's like, well, I want to reach pit 145, otherwise I'm not going to enjoy this game. Well, then like you have to do very specific things, right? So it just depends on what your fun factor is and what your standards are. I mainly want to do pit 100 3 minutes to min max glyphs, so you can try different builds. Okay. You're gonna need to do OM to do that. Most builds in this game cannot do pits in 3 minutes that isn't max glyphs. Because you want to do it to max glyphs. I mean, if you're trying to do it just sort of where you can max glyphs in general, then like you really should be playing a paladin at that point. I mean, Sork can do it, yeah. Rogue can do it, technically, yeah. But like with really good gear, you have to really have really good gear already before you can do hundreds that fast. Or you can just play paladin. Internal Bliss, pretty sure to follow. Like on this character right now, my Rainbow's character, which is pretty geared out, just missing sanctifications, which is still a lot of damage, but it's still pretty geared out. Like I can do 103 minutes on this setup, but it took me a while to gear this much so far to get there. The shittiest gear wing straight pal can do a pit 102 minutes, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you have to kind of just think about what your expectations are, because most classes that are not like ultra geared will not be able to do what you're wanting. Pit has been changed a bit in a sense where like, you know, we're not doing as high a pit across the board for all classes like that than we once were ish. Unless you got like, you know, all the syncs and stuff like that. I believe some of the builds are based on syncs instead of mythic. Oh yeah, they definitely are. They definitely are. Hey, I got a mythic. It's a Sheikah. Ever tried Paladin myself? Nah, Paladin is not a archetype I ever too much cared for. The only thing I can see myself enjoying a Paladin is like Captain America. That's really about it. It was the same way when I played Crusader in D3. Like the only that I cared about on Crusader was basically Captain America. Past that point, everything else to me is just like meh. GG Mythic. Yeah, for the definitely for OM Heartseeker, but I have no interest in playing that in a serious manner, so you're a rogue guy, of course. Anything with a bow and arrow, basically. What am I playing right now? Rain of Arrows. Oh, I didn't click it. Oops. You think that the tower coming is that they're time to bring in sets? They'll bring in sets in the expansion, but it's gonna be like within a talisman, so it won't like take up our gear slots. Can you find a guy for our master? Yep. Do exclamation mark build. There you go. Hey, I think this one too. It's a Doombringer, but it is what it is. You're welcome. Played all class D4 until Spiritborn showed up. I really liked it. So I was like Monk from D3, and it gives me that really good vibe playing it. I do feel like the Spiritborn in general was like really well designed. So as a paladin, anything that was designed after the game came out is better designed in the classes. Naturally. So season 11 Heartseeker. Heartseeker, but now I play Spiritborn, Rock Splitter, Thorn, because I like it, and not choosing Evade over it. Am I gonna grind the Paragon 300 before tower? No. Nope. I don't hate my life that much. Not to mention, like, the difference between my Paragon now and Paragon 300 is not enough to even equate to like half a tower's worth of impact. Because like everything I take right now would just be extra decks at this point. Which, you know, you're looking at what, like 5 decks times 40 Paragon. So you're looking at 200 decks. like that's like nothing. Would be better if they didn't remove decks. Well, they did actually give, like, they did make decks have a little bit more value per point on Rogue. So Dex is a teeny bit better than what it was before. But, I mean, definitely not enough for me to, like, hate my life trying to farm up. Really, I can just do, you know, Ubervar resets, basically, if I really, really wanted. But that amount of Dex is not worth. It's really not worth. I wonder why they actually did remove Dexter percent though, or percent stat like that. Considering that like that would have been a good option to have over like, you know, in case you don't get all the passives that you still trying to go for. I mean, I guess in expansion they're removing passives. We won't be chasing passives on Amulet on the expansions. Why aren't we using versatility glyph? I don't know. On the push version we are. On the standard version, I don't remember why. I guess you can change out canny for that. Wait, what are we doing? Is this breach? Isn't it straight up better? It once was, but when they nerf clone a little bit, that one season or whatever, like I think I went back to canny over versatility. But to be honest with you, I didn't like do the math on it. I just kind of just trusted Ava when he said it. Yeah, I do have it on the push variant for whatever reason. I didn't change it there. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't. Yeah. Okay, replace fluidity. Is it still possible to get Vessel of Hatred Ultimate Edition on Xbox? Yeah. Oh, you know, Vessel Hatred. Oh, I don't know. I think one of the the Odious escaped. No. Love your content. Happy New Year. Thanks, you too. Oh wait, there's another thing over there. Coming. Yeah, at some point though. So like, how many slots I'm missing? I'm missing 4 slots, 5 slots, actually 6 slots of sanctifications that I don't have. So both of these, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Boots is 5. Helmet. Chest is 6, 7. I guess it's 7. I'm missing like 2 mythics and 4 aspects. I could totally use. Don't Super Mike, don't you do it. I said that one time on accident in front of my students this year, the school year, and like it was the worst thing I've like ever said, ever. Legit could not get them to like chill for like a good like 5 or 10 minutes.
See some steel you need. My hammer's saying
Try teaching primary math and not saying it's literally impossible. Part of the states are you from? Southeast. Yeah, southeast near the beaches. Well, I'm saying near the beach. Like one of the states connected to the beach. Man, the inventory is same time. In Southwest. Yeah, so it's officially New Year's Eve for me now.
too bad, friend.
Hmm.
All finished, are you?
I don't think I'm gonna end up syncing anything tonight. I do it the following stream, which will be on what's today? Tuesday? Yeah, Thursday. Some of these guys actually. Shots fired. Doors. Now I think about it, not that I would want to, but now I think about it, I think with the way the new tippers are this season, we can technically do Rain of Rails without the Water Hook on. Not that you would want to do it. But if you somehow like got like a ridiculously GG legendary amulet, somehow. But the perfect saint on it, you can possibly make still make Renevilles work without Con. I can't get to the steel. A 4GA ring. This actually wouldn't have been too bad, this ring. If only they had like a main stat on it. This is a 3 energy, but I'm still gonna have to use it. Actually, I'm gonna hold on to it. I wonder how the economy is right now, anyways. Considering that like it's kind of hard to buy like really like to like go for really good gear, knowing that like it'd be kind of like pointless if the sync doesn't actually happen, right? So it's like, Top, what's going on? You got a question? Yeah, what's up? You're new to Diablo 4? Okay. Ooh, Champion's Demise. My favorite. You have no idea what you're doing? Okay, that's not a bad thing. I would start with the campaigns if you haven't already. The first campaign is actually really good. Second campaign, not so much, but it's not like it's not the worst thing in the world. But I would do the campaigns first. That's gonna give you a better idea of how the game actually like feels to play per se. Make sure you do not get your friends to like power level you or boost you or whatever. Then you're just gonna be just even more confused than you already are now. And take your time. Don't rush through anything. If you're looking for resources, maxroll.gg, which is a website that I actually write build guides for and stuff. We have a lot of resource articles and stuff that you can look through as you are learning the game. You don't necessarily have to follow a build guide if you don't want to, but I think like using the resource guides to kind of get a better idea of how things work in some cases would do pretty well for you. But yeah, do the campaign, both campaigns, the regular campaign and the expansion campaign, and then for the most part go from there. But take your time. That's like the best advice I can give to you. Too many times I've seen people come to my chat and they say that they got boosted by their friends and they're completely lost with no gear and T4 and can't do a thing. And like that's an awful place to be at. That's for any action RPG. Like it's literally like this is like regular advice for any action RPG, honestly. the campaign's multiplayer. I mean, yeah, you can do it with people if you wanted to. But I always kind of suggest doing it solo or do it with a friend and have him make a new character. So he's not like killing everything for you in like one sweep. He's actually have to play the game with you. Yeah, but I do think solo will give you more of a pace, you know, an experience where you kind of have like a set pacing for yourself, where you're not holding you're holding your friend back or anything like that, and you're not being rushed through, which is important. Is it kind of like WoW style gameplay? No. WoW style gameplay is like cooldown based, rotation ish type thing. That's like a MMO. This is more like an action. Think of more like an action game almost. Pretty fast paced, pretty zoomy, lots of things to kill on the screen. Oops, that hurt. But it does have an open world feel to it in terms of like looking at the map. It can look really overwhelming, but you don't really interact with a lot of the map at all. Okay. Because I was getting that you kept dying. Yeah, just do. Yeah, I would. Like I said, like doing a campaign will kind of help you get some sort of semblance of gear and ish, and also runes and things. If you skip it and you never played the game before, it's gonna be rough. Like I said, make sure to check out maxrow.gg. It's a really nice website, and I mean, I know I'm like pushing it. I'm not doing it because I work for them, but more so, we tend to be very beginner friendly through the stuff that we offer in terms of like the game itself. Like we don't just write stuff for the experienced players. It's definitely very beginner friendly. But yeah, maxrow.gg. D4 branch. I guess this will be my last key. And I think I'm gonna head on out for the evening. And I will save my disappointment for certifications on Thursday. I'll just do a whole mass slam session. Yeah, man, you too. Also, keep in mind, you know, you can always come back here and ask questions. Like, if you have questions about anything in the game, like, literally, do not hesitate to ask. No matter how, like, beginner, you know, or noob friendly it might be. Like, literally ask. The specific class you should do. I would think about the archetype that you like to play. I would totally base it off of what you know, what archetype you think you might have fun. Like if you like minions, there's Negro. If you like you gotta work or Xmas time. So yeah, I mean, when I'm not teaching, I double down on my second and third job gigs type sort of thing to make money throughout that time frame. additional money throughout the time frame. But it's also more so to make sure I don't either get burnt out, because it's kind of hard to stream the same hours like I used to with the amount of work that I'm doing now compared to what it once was. So I'm trying to get myself to like maybe stream every other day, so I'm not like putting too much on myself. Also, it allows me to extend the fun for the season, if that makes sense. Because it's like I kind of only play when I stream, so it's kind of like, you know what I mean? I don't get burnt out as quickly of the game when it's like that. And I guess I'm looking forward to trying. Honestly, not really. It's more so I haven't really thought about it, because I didn't really look at the Game Awards, so I don't really know what's really coming out right now. I'm sure there's probably a few games I would be interested in, but I just haven't checked anything out, so I don't even know the real answer to that. What are you looking forward to, Calligraphy? Besides GTA 6, which will I don't think you can look forward to it. I think your grandkids will be looking forward to that. Monster Hunter expansion gonna be peak. When is that coming out? See, I'm so far behind. Expedition 33, that was a good game. I actually did play that. Actually, did we ever play Monster Hunter together? We never played Monster Hunter together, did we? When I had my little Monster Hunter, wow, it was like Ark. You didn't play it now, did you? Late next year? Jeez. I guess they still gotta fix the performance issues in the first game, huh? They keep saying they're gonna get to it. They'll release stuff, except for like fix the performance the performance issues, right? Although I will say I haven't had much issues playing Monster Hunter Wilds on my PC. It's funny. I have an easier time streaming that game than I do D4. Like I don't crash when I stream Monster Hunter at all. And like that's a game that would make sense that like my PC just flat out just gives up on, right? But or my connection, but nah, it's D4 on medium settings is the problem. Oh man. Oh wait, is that good? Let's see, bad. I think I'll it. Will be posting other rogue builds on Maxroll. I have 5. Heartseeker, Rain of Arrows, Invigorating Strike, Barrage, and Rapid Fire. But just keep in mind that Invigorating Strike, Barrage, and Rapid Fire are planner only guides now. So like I don't know if you've kind of seen the new revamped site that, or I'm gonna say revamped site, but like the more modernish updated site where we guides that are not that popular or builds are not that popular or are not likely to be played are now just planner only. So we don't do like entire full build guides for them anymore, but they're still there. So But Random Arrows and Heartseeker are the only two that are fully flesh written out build guides. Because those two were definitely going to get more play, and people are more interested in that. But the others, I just did planner only. I will say, like this season is a little hard to really dive into multiple builds unless you're a paladin. Mainly because like the sinks are like completely necessary. Like for most builds to feel good. So it's kind of hard to get sinks for one build as it is, yet alone multiple different builds, right? Been playing Arc Raiders here and there. It's a nice game to go into because of stuff and loot. I thought about trying to get into that too at some point. There are some games that like I wanted to get into, but like the timing was so bad because like they'll come out when like D4 season like is about to hit, or something I gotta do at Mastro. So like the timing is just awful. So I just don't really ever get the time to play it right then. I have to kind of go back and play it after the fact. So Arc Raiders was one of those, kind of one of those, because I had to do a lot of work with Maxwell because we were updating the, not just the guides, but also just like the templates and the format and stuff. So we did a lot of work for about a whole week, basically. Oh, Bannock is on. All right, we can go to Bannock. But like I said before, every other day is the streaming schedule now for the most part. So you will not see me on New Year's. No, sorry. You'll see me on New Year's Day. Like yeah, Thursday is New Year's Day, right? Yeah. So you'll see me on New Year's Day. New Year's night, I guess, the evening of New Year's. But you won't see me like New Year's Eve going into New Year's, if that makes sense. I guess I'm too fragile to stand the PvP part of it. That's such an honest comment. That's such an honest comment. But yeah, I don't get into too many shooters because I guess I don't know, like I haven't really been haven't had a chance to really play a lot of like shooters in general.
Okay then, guess it's my turn.
But the 5 gifted.
Okay then, guess it's my turn.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna go to Bannock. Prague with the 5 gifted.
Guess it's my turn.
Folks trying to take your time. Oh man. All right, so on Thursday we're gonna slam a lot. We're gonna slam a bunch and kind of test our luck and hope that we get something. But yeah, for those who I may not see next stream, Happy New Year's to you all. I hope next year goes better for you than hope next year is better than this year has been for you. Whether that is good or bad, you know, for everyone is different, right? But hope next year starts off well and you don't pick a New Year's resolution that you're gonna break in the next couple of days. My New Year's resolution is always the same, and that is never to write the previous year, never write the previous year's date on any documents. So, and for the past 4 years, I think I've actually done pretty well with that. So that is a doable challenge. But anyhow, y'all have a good one. Enjoy Bannock, and as always, till next time.